So I'm sure you're thinking, in order to make $1 million online, you need to have a massive audience. You need to have millions of views, and you need to spend a ton of money on ads. Well, the reality is this is not the case for my client, Dan. He was able to generate $1.5 million in profit without going viral, without running ads, and without having to hustle for his clients. He did it through the power of his content. And you can too, once you understand the strategy and systems that go into content creation that attracts your ideal buyer and have them pre-sold on you before you ever hop in a sales call. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps, systems, and strategies, and how you can implement this yourself absolutely for free. In order for you to do this, you have to first understand why this works, because chances are you've tried to get more views on your videos and just can't seem to crack the code. You try to get clients from your content and you don't understand why it's not working. And it's probably because of one of these three reasons. Number one, we focus on short form content. We got nada, 0 results. We got views, sure, we got followers, but we got no buyers, no customers. And the thing that we learned was that people don't build trust through short form content, they build trust through long form content. Here's why. Google did a study that takes 7 hours of content consumed for someone to build enough trust for them to buy from you. When we do the math, we would have to create 933 Instagram Reels in order to reach 7 hours of content. I don't know about you. I don't want to create 933 Reels, nor do I think you want to watch 933 Reels just to gain enough trust to buy. So the solution that we came up with was long form content. Long form content, specifically on YouTube, helps you not only get discovered, but helps build that trust, helps them get to know, like, and trust you. Now, this leads to my next reason, and probably why you're stuck, is because you are trying to sell in your content. If you look at his content, his YouTube channel, he is not asking of anything. He's not pitching you on anything. He is not asking, he's only giving value, which is why it works so well. It's like you going up to a bar, you ask out this girl, but you reek of desperation. You know the feeling, you know that when you just want that, you want a girlfriend, you want to go on a date or whatever, you want something, and what happens? They feel repelled, they don't want you. This is the same thing in your business. This is the same thing in your content. When you reek of trying to make a sale, they can smell it. This is called sales breath. They can smell it, they can feel it, they can see it. And so instead of trying to sell, you need to serve in your content. This is fundamental into why this strategy worked, because what I'm going to describe to you, like I said, he had very little views. If you look at his channel, he doesn't have much more than 1,000 views per video, and yet he's making $1 million online. And it's not because of some secret, wording that he's saying. It's because of the mindset he's in while making the content. So this is very important for you to understand. If you want this strategy to work, you have to make sure that you implement this in the right way. You're in the right mindset to do it. And I'm going to help you later in this video release yourself from the pressure that you need to sell in every post. So I'm going to explain that later in the video, so stick around. Point number 3, and this is the most important point. Make sure you write this down. Strong content equals easy sales. The goal of the content always isn't to go viral, isn't to build an audience, it's to build trust. So it creates a journey of easy yeses so that when they get to the sales call, sales are effortless. And that's because fundamentally they know, like, and trust you. And here's the opposite. When you try to sell and not serve, when you focus on vanity metrics, when you try to make content just based on trends and not being authentic to yourself, what happens? You make harder sales. Business gets harder. Lead generation gets harder. Your sales calls become objection wall after objection wall after objection wall. That is not the purpose of the content. The purpose of the content is to serve, is to build trust, is to get known, get liked, and build trust, because we want customers who absolutely will take our advice. I don't know about you, if you've ever signed a client and then they don't take your advice and then they don't get the results, it's like, why did you even go with me if you're not going to take my advice? It makes no sense. So you want to attract buyers who will actually take your advice. And this is the fundamental thing. You ditch the short form, you serve and you don't sell, and you focus on strong content. Now, I'm going to describe to you the steps that you can take to make this happen and the 3 systems that make this work. I want you to look at your funnel as a flow. The way that makes your funnel flow is through what we call a journey of easy yeses. What most funnels do, and most funnels have a problem with, is they have friction barriers. They have too many steps, too many points in the funnel that create friction for me to leave. And it's because people in traditional funnels that you've probably seen, it results in people, aka leads, either buying or dying. Well, that world is gone. We do not want to create a funnel where leads buy or die, because that's just a numbers game. What we want to create a world is an ecosystem and a journey. And here's the thing, everyone's journey is different. Some people want the straight highway path to success. Some people want the scenic route, right? Every journey is different. But the thing is, content is what creates this journey of easy yeses. It pushes people down the funnel and it warms people up from cold strangers to hot leads ready to buy. So here's the 3 steps to move them from cold to sold. Step number 1, you need to develop a traffic system. How are you getting the attention systematically and consistently of your ideal buyer, of your ideal audience? There's 3 ways. So there's paid, there's organic, and partnership. Paid, pretty self-explanatory. Organic, also pretty self-explanatory, right? So partnership, let me describe what this is first, and then I'll talk about the strategy. So partnership is collaboration. So if you and I collaborate on a post and you have a 1,000-person audience and I have a 1,000-person audience, guess what? Your 1,000-person audience gets introduced to me and vice versa. So a great way to leverage organic traffic is partnership, aka going on people's podcasts, or you and someone who you're in the same industry with collaborate on a post. Those are forms of partnership. Now, here's the strategy that Dan beautifully does. He creates organic content, not to sell, but to serve. And why it works is because he authentically wants to help. He's solving people's problems with his content. He's not doing trends. He's not dancing on TikTok. He's solving problems, because what is businesses built for? To solve problems. We all are here to find answers to our problems. So he just strictly solved the problems. Now, the way that he was able to do that was he had tremendous clarity on who he was serving and what he was offering, what he was helping them with. Every video was very specific to one problem, because here's the thing, we have a lot of problems. You don't want to tackle too many problems in one video. You want to tackle one problem in one video for one person, right? The 1-1-1 rule. In his organic content, the way he was able to attract his ideal viewer is he had tremendous clarity on who they were and what he was offering in the video, like what he was talking about, aka what problem was he solving, and then he did it. He didn't ask for anything in return. If you look at his videos, he did not ask any CTA. It wasn't like, hey, go check out the link or do this. He didn't do that. All he did was serve. And that was step 1 in the traffic system. If I were to do this again now with you, I would do this 10 times more. He went on different podcasts. And like I shared earlier, that is a great way to amplify your traffic tenfolds for free, because he went on podcasts that have not a big following, like 5, 10, 20,000 followers or listeners, but they all got introduced to Dan. So he had an influx of leads like crazy. I couldn't imagine where we would be if we actually doubled down on this, but this is a secret unlock that all the best, like people in movies and publishers and best-selling authors, they all go on these podcast tours and they go on shows. That's why we have Hot Ones, and they go on Diary of a CEO. They go on these podcast tours because it's a great way to get their message out, because each of these shows have very loyal audiences. And when they get introduced to you, you skip the trust line, because if they're listening to the show, they already trust the show. So this is a great way to get exposure for free. Now, what this also does is, because podcast is also organic content, it's a great way to create organic content without you having to go through the creation process of coming up with the idea, scripting out the idea, filming the idea, editing the idea, etc. So a great way to use both is actually to go on shows, talk about your story, talk about your message, and use that as your organic strategy. They can give you the footage and you can use it in your own content. So this is the traffic system. Now, what made this really, really work well, again, Dan didn't do this to make his first million off of YouTube. He does this now, and I'm going to share it with you right now, is the content that hits, the content that is an outlier, he turns into a paid ad to increase people watching his content. So he doesn't run ads to a VSL, he runs ad to people to his Instagram, and then people follow him on Instagram and they see his content and then they go down the rabbit hole, right? They go down the funnel. Again, this is creating a journey of easy yeses, guys. So the first easy yes is follow. How easy is that? Oh, I like what I had to see. I'm going to follow this guy. That's the first step, the first goal of the traffic system. Just get known. We want to build that know, like, and trust. This is to get known. How do you turn that attention into clients? This is where step 2 comes in. This is where we have a trust system. This is the most important part to making sure sales is effortless. And it goes back to what I said earlier, strong content. Strong content equals easy sales. To build strong content, you need a lot of trust. You need that 7 hours of trust. So how do we do that? Number 1 is we focus on long-form content. So our content on YouTube is a source of trust. So when people follow us, subscribe to our channel, they are slowly being introduced and we're increasing that 7 hours so that the cold to hot bar is slowly warming up. Now, to speed ramp this, what we focus on is a lead magnet. The lead magnet is the bridge from cold to sold because a lead magnet builds trust. It is something you give of value for free, so valuable that they can't believe it's free. So the lead magnet is, in this case, is a free mini course. So Dan's lead magnet is a free 20-minute mini course on how he's able to generate over $1 million through his program, through his method. And this mini course actually builds tremendous trust because number 1, it gets people results. They learn more about him, his story, his ideas, the way he was able to do it. And so not only they're spending more time with him, but they're getting tremendous results through it. Now, the important thing here is how do you build trust, right? So just consuming the content isn't enough for them to buy, although it helps, right? What really goes into this lead magnet is the 3 sales you need to make in this stage, in this phase, in order to build trust. So people buy from those they know, like, and trust. To build trust, they need to first be sold on you, the messenger, so people can connect and relate to him. The next piece of this trust building system is they have to be sold on the message, on the method. As an example, if you don't believe in content creation, you're not going to click on this video, you're not going to watch this video. So you have to be sold on the way to get the result. So the next piece of this lead magnet puzzle is them being sold on the mechanism. And that's a lead magnet. Now, the third piece plays into step number 3, which I'll explain in a second. So the trust building phase is a lead magnet, which is a free course. It's designed to build trust. Again, not to sell, to build trust. Now, in exchange, we do get their email, and guess what? Through the email, we can send them more content. So if they watch a lead magnet and maybe they're just a little warmed up and then we send them more content, now they're warming up even more. This is the game, guys. It's not just they watch the video and then they can be sold. Everyone's different. Every path is different. Some people can watch that one video and be sold. Other people need to watch 6 months of videos in order to be sold. Don't put so much pressure on it. Just make sure you understand that this is a trust building sequence, not a sales building sequence. So now we have the lead magnet, we get their email, we're consistently send them emails of content. Then what we are doing is sending them to our last stage. This is now the transformation stage. Now, what's important about this phase is that what I've said up until this point is he serves, not sells. This one video is 100% designed to sell. So the reason why we're able to serve in our content and release ourselves from this pressure to sell in our videos is because we designed it so one video does all the heavy lifting, does the selling for us, and the rest serve. And guess what? If someone is cold, they shouldn't be sent that video because they're not educated enough on why your message is the way to do it. So you have to make sure you're following the sequence in the right order if that's going to work. So step number 3 to transform and transition them to become a client is with a mini VSL. This is different from what traditional VSLs are because what they try to do is try to sell you in an hour-long VSL. What this is a 5, 7, 10-minute video that only if they've watched your content and your lead magnet would they understand the opportunity this brings. And now what this is all of the sales mechanism and points are in this one asset. We have traffic, we send them the lead magnet then warms them up, builds trust, so they become hot. Once they're hot, they get invited. They can see in the email, right? Hey, if you want to learn how to do X, Y, and Z, the problem your offer, then you go watch this VSL. And this VSL is just you showing on the last thing they need. So I talked about the 3 things you need, which is sold on you, sold on your messenger. The last thing you need to buy from you is sold on your offer. So this is what this is made for. Once you have done that, sales become effortless. So when they get on the call, they don't have any objections. And in Dan's case, he didn't even hop on a call. He sold them without it. This is the power when you understand content and the thing that goes into the content. Here's another example. I have a client, Patrice, at the stage of where she was at when we did this. She was in the beginning stages of her business, making $10,000 a month, and she scaled to $30,000 in a month in 30 days because of one video. And guess what that video was? That video was this mini VSL. It was a 7-minute video talking through her story, selling her message, and selling her offer. This one 7-minute video had her sold out and even won the school games. And I have so many more examples like Toby, who generated over 300 leads from using this power of this one video. This one video only works when you understand the whole funnel strategy and system behind it. So here is my serving to you. If you want to build the system, if you want to learn how you can do it yourself, then I invite you to click on the link down below and you can see how you can build it for yourself. You can see exactly how other entrepreneurs are scaling to 6, 7, and even 8 figures through content and not funnels. So if that sounds like something you need, something you want to do, then I encourage you and in serving you, click on that link below.